the closing table. I'm glad you decided to come back. Of course, I have a new episode, a new friend that is pulling up a seat to the closing table, and we're going to talk about something that everybody wants to know, especially when you're ready to start purchasing a home, and that is what is the roadmap for a first-time home buyer? But my friend is not just a friend, he is my brother from another mother. He is also a loan officer, just like yours truly. And he is pulling up a seat at the closing table, so I won't even wait. Let me bring up my guy, Jimmy Millen.
Hey,
Hey,
what's happening? How you doing?
what up, what up, what
What
up?
up? What
Or
up,
as y'all
though?
say, what up, though?
What up, though?
Listen, I'm about to be Detroit baptized in a minute.
I know,
Listen.
right?
So, Jimmy, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you so much. I really
Thank you
do.
for having me. Thank you for having me. It's
Absolutely.
it's a, it's an honor. Like I get to be in the presence of the GOAT. Like you know what I mean.
Oh,
You've been doing your thing, and you've been killing it in this industry. And
thank
when that
you.
olive branch was extended, I had to clutch my pearls a little bit. Like Mama, I made it. I just got a text too. Like, hey, my mom had to hit you back in a minute.
Listen. Hey, I'm going to the closing table.
You feel me?
Hey, we always want to be at the closing table. We want to get our clients to the closing table. So,
Factual.
Jimmy, I want, you're my brother. I know you. Can you tell those who are listening just a little bit about you, your background before lending and now that you are a LO?
Ooh wee. So before lending, a lot of people don't know this. Well, the people that do know me know. Prior to getting into lending, I was actually that annoying telemarketer. I was that guy. Yeah,
Oh my God.
I was that guy. I was calling you, like trying to get you to give a donation, either for like the veterans or maybe like a children's organization. I've even done telemarketing for IPACs. Like I've done all, yeah, well, for PACs rather. I've done all of that. Like, and I did that for about
Wow.
15 years. And one of my good friends, um, he had started. I don't know how he found out about UWM. Found out about UWM and was like, hey, there's this opportunity to where we can showcase our selling skills or whatever. And I thought nothing of it. I blew him off for like an entire year. And then
Mm,
I finally said, you know what, forget it. It's probably time for something new. Like it's that time. And I interviewed and I got in. I spent years at UWM. After that, I did go to Big Red. I went over.
okay.
I went over to Big Red. Spent a few years over at Big Red. From there, I felt that I gained enough knowledge to, hey, let's jump off the porch. Let's
I
finally
love
do
that.
it. I think that you've learned a lot, but I was still scared. I was still scared and still nervous
Mm,
because you and I both know, being in this industry, um, we've got to hunt.
for sure.
We've got to hunt because there's no guarantees.
That's right.
You don't have that comfortable work 40 hours and you got that guaranteed paycheck. So I was nervous about it, but I went ahead and I took the course. Um,
Mm,
and then, Trina, I waited. I waited. I took the course, passed the course, but I waited to take the test because
mm.
I was just so nervous, and I put it off for an entire year, and I worked as an LOA. But during that time working as an LOA, I was able to see, a lot of those insides of, this side of the business. From there, I said, you know what, you've got to do it because if you want to get to that level of success, you have to. It's a necessary step. Like,
Right.
God was telling me, like, I got you. Just go do it. So
Mm.
I scheduled the test, and my wife. Shout out to my wife. She helped me study. Like I went through the course again, and I studied and studied and studied. She took the day off of work. She took PTO, went with me to go and take the test,
I
quizzed
love
me
it.
in the car. We tested in the car
I
on the
love
way.
it.
I took the test. I submitted my very last answer. I put my head down and just like prayed. And I think I was praying out loud, but when I looked up and it said passed, I rejoiced.
Mm.
And then that brought me here. I ended up working for a different company. That company did not have, and I'm not going to name the company because I don't
For
slander.
sure, for sure.
That company didn't have the same support that we have at Safe Trust. You know what we
Come
have
on
at
now.
Safe Trust,
Come on
and I
now.
know we're going to talk on that. But I ended up with a lot of my day ones. I ended up with my Mac. I had met Julian, and
Mm-hmm.
that was all I needed to make that transition, and that brought me to Safe Trust. But that was my little rant on what brought me here.
I love it. So we are going to talk about first-time home buyers. We are, but you just dropped some gems. So I'm always going to just kind of segue because when you said something that was very instrumental, and Jimmy, sometimes when we're talking, we don't know who's listening. So we do know that we're going to have some first-time home buyers that tune in because they're going to want to hear our conversation about the things. But even that, for anybody listening, a first time home buyer, a person who wants to become an LO, and
Mhm.
LO, guys, when I say it, is loan officer. When we say LOA, loan officer assistant.
Yeah.
So you said a few things, and the minister and me, we got to kind of dissect it because everything is about his timing, and it's always perfect. So you went
Always.
gradually through some things, even in your nervousness, anxiousness, and not being certain, and all of those things. You still kept moving forward,
Yeah.
maybe not at the pace of everybody else or someone else, but you moved forward 12 months as a loan officer assistant. That was invaluable. What you learned during that time, you can't beat it. And when you were like, you eat what you hunt. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here and I'm looking at I do post-its when people say things that really hit deep and I want to remember. And I remember our CEO Marcel one day talking on a huddle meeting, and I'm looking at my post-it right here, and I noted what he said about hunting and farming.
Yes.
And in this business, you're doing both of those things. You're hunting, you're looking for the next, but you're also farming. You're cultivating, as you do, your
Yeah.
realtor relationship. So you're constantly, tilling the soil, making sure you're fertilizing the relationships, going back, doing all the things. So I want to applaud you because even in you saying I was scared, it took me some time. It was the perfect timing. As
Yeah.
you talked, I'm like, it was the perfect timing. He was able to pick up the nuggets he needed to pick up, the skills that you needed to pick up so that you could be the amazing loan officer that you are now. So I applaud you for that, and definitely your wife having that support system, because
Yes.
people don't see the amount of sacrifice that this position takes, because we're not just loan officers. We are therapists, we are counselors. We talk to people before they go to work, after they go to
Mhm.
work, when we're at the social event, when we're not at the social event. We're
Yeah.
trying to make ourselves available. So I'm excited about just, where we are and what we're about to talk about and go into, because first time home buyers are always afraid. They're nervous, they're anxious, even if they don't present. Some people will try to present the persona like I'm not, but when we get to them,
Yeah.
it's a situation where, like, a person is the most vulnerable,
Oh
they're the
yeah.
most exposed, because we see credit, we see bank statements, we don't go by what they say, it's
Exactly.
by we go by what we see. So what is the biggest myth that you have discovered that keeps home buyers on the sideline, scared to get in the game?
Um, I think a lot of people still get stuck in like that old school, like the older myths that it takes forever. It's super expensive. It's super hard to do. And we're trying to close off that mindset. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I address those myths right off the rip when I'm talking to people to let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna make this educational, but I'm gonna make this a pleasant experience. And I think that's one of the things that's how I actually found out that that was my niche when I was working as an LOA, because I was having the conversations that that broker owner did not want to have. So I was doing
Mm.
with the agents, I was doing the communicating, within our legal bounds with the client,
Correct.
but I had to talk to that emotional part of them. And then that's when I came to find out, like, you know what, it really truly is, because my first house, it was a cash buy. So
Okay.
that was a lot easier than going through the process. But I find like it's an emotional roller coaster. It
For
really,
sure.
really is. So if they have someone to what you said, like that therapist, that person you can talk to, the person that can, respond to that text when they're texting you at 2 in the morning because they can't go to sleep because they're so excited and anxious and they can't think. Like being able to wear all of those hats. So being able to wear all of those hats at the right time while guiding them helps to debunk what a lot of those myths and what a lot of that anxiety is. That was a really great question.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And what I found is this when I'm talking to first-time home buyers, because like you, I enjoy first-time home buyers, the education,
Yeah.
setting, and I wrote down here, setting expectations, because
Oh yeah.
we hear that all the time. Set the proper expectations so they know what to expect. Because some people are ready now, some people are ready later. A lot of what I get that comes across for me is, do I need my credit to be absolutely perfect?
Mhm.
Do I need this enormous amount of money? And and what have I been doing the right things? Because I have people say, well, I'm working on it and then I'll call you back when I'm ready. But you don't know, I don't want you to work on the wrong thing. Let's
Exactly.
work on it together because you have a partner. So how do you handle that person that's like, well, I'm going to work on my stuff and I'll call you back later?
So, one of the best ways that I kind of overcome that part of it, I'm going to ask them because that once the credit is exposed, you basically that's their life because it's their life because
Yeah,
it shows their spending habits, what they're doing, how they financially are utilizing like their finances. So when it comes to I'm going to work on my credit and get back to you, I don't per se run into that so much. It's the way that I set up my consultations is I do a full all-out presentation. So we're going to hit on, the three factors that allows you to even get that home. We're going to go over your income. We're going to go over your assets. And the part that I say for last is the credit, because that's generally the most sensitive topic. So
correct.
once we go over credit, I've already covered the other two. So that wall is already come down because we're building rapport and I'm learning about you. So by the time that we get to talking about credit, you'll feel comfortable enough to let me know, like, hey, I've either A, been responsible with my credit and I know I'm good to go, or B, I'm probably going to need your help, brother. So
Yeah,
it usually comes down to that, like, hey, I'm going to need your help. And by the resources that, you and I have, we
for
can
sure.
actually guide them in that direction. So if they do say something to the point of, I'm going to fix my credit myself, we're going to do a deeper dive now because I need to know what you know about credit because like you said, you know that you're going to be working on it, fixing the right
Right.
things. Like I don't need you jumping in and doing this when that's not going to even affect your credit. So let's do a
Correct.
deeper dive now and let's actually talk about what you think is on your credit. So when I ask about credit, I ask a multi-layered question. Um, do you like how often do you check your credit? Do you check your credit? Where do you check your credit at? And what is the score? And then if you're able
Mhm.
to answer three of the four of those questions, okay, cool. You may have checked your credit last month. Now, when you check
Yes.
that credit, what did you see on that credit report? Did you just look at the numbers or did you actually
Hey,
go
just the
through the
numbers.
report?
I'm over
Because
here hoping and praying, just
you know
looking
what I
at
mean?
the
Right.
numbers.
Some of them they'll look up and see the number like, oh, okay, it's in the sixes and think that that's good
We
credit.
good.
And they'll think that's good. I'm like, hey, well, did you scroll down and actually see what's on there? No, I just looked at the numbers and I logged off. Okay, so this is what we're going to do.
Mhm.
And then we'll set up the plan from there. And some people will do it on the phone right then and there. Like I got my Credit Karma pulled up.
For
Okay,
sure.
cool. What's the number? Well, the number is it's 670. Okay, not too bad. Hey, kudos to you for getting your credit trended in the right direction. Do me a favor and scroll down and let me know what it says. Oh, what's this? Derogatory remarks? Yeah, this is what we need to focus on now. And then I just take that approach.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
and I love the way you said you go over the first three things and leave credit for last because
yes,
that's same way. I'm
yeah,
talking about job, I'm talking about assets, and then like you said,
and
because
credit.
credit is a very sensitive subject and topic. So I love the way that you cultivate and work with your first time home buyers. That's amazing. Another big thing for us in the industry, I know I get calls and texts daily. What are the interest rates? So interest rates get all of the hoop and all of the things, but
Yeah.
what should buyers really be paying attention to that matters more than the rate, not just the
So
rate?
we all know, and this is for the first time home buyers out there. I want you to think about this question real quick. If any of you guys have a car and you're paying a car note on it, you know exactly how much your monthly payment is. Now, I want you to think about it right now. What's the interest rate on your car if you've had it for a little while? You're probably scratching your head right now thinking, I don't know it. But you know how much you're paying per month. So I focus on that because what really matters is that monthly payment. Are you comfortable? Can you afford this house?
Mm-hmm.
We all know the saying, and it's starting to become more and more popular now. Marry the house,
Date the rate.
exactly. Exactly. So I tend not to let people go into that dark hole of what they saw on the news or what they saw in that TikTok video or on IG. You know, my job is to make sure that you are properly educated. Now, if you're one of those super financial savvy borrowers, then yes, that's a different type of conversation. But 90% of your first time home buyers, they really know nothing from nothing. So it's our job to make sure that they're comfortable and like, hey, let's go over what your finances are and let's see what you can afford. And let's make sure that it makes sense. So we put you in a home that you can be in long term, as opposed to just getting in this house because you saw something really cool on social media. And then the following year you're underwater and then you're blaming me for it. So I'm not going to set anybody up for failure, but I try not to let people focus too much on rate. You know,
I love it. I love it. That's excellent because you got to bring them back. You got to bring everybody back and
absolutely.
just letting people know and understand. We can't even get you approved for a home that you can't afford.
Exactly.
Like we can't.
Exactly.
I can't make you afford more than you can afford. So we can't do it. So after talking about the income, talking about the assets and then credit, and now you got a person who may have that 650, 660, 620.
Okay.
They're good to go. They're ready. They have their funds, or they may be getting a gift or whatever it may be, but they're ready to go. They're out shopping. You have hit the button. You sent that email out that says, congratulations, you are pre-approved. What are some of the mistakes that can happen in between pre-approved and at the closing table that we want to avoid them from making? Like, don't do that.
All right, let's have a talk. I've seen it time and time again, and this is one of the lessons that I've learned the hard way. And I did learn it when I was in my the LOA phase, and I've also seen other people go through this. That excitement happens. You see the pre-approval, you get excited. I get it. I understand because you're that much closer to the house. But what I need you not to do, please don't go and finance that furniture that you want to put in the living room after you've done that walk. Please don't finance that Samsung fridge that's got the screen on it. I get it. I promise you it's going to be there. Wait till after we close. And one of the number one biggest mistakes, and I've seen people do this as well too, I got the new house. I wanted to have a new car in the driveway.
Oh my God, I'm about to collapse.
But sir, why did you buy the car before you closed on the house? Like, do you want to be living in that car and not the house? Like, those are the biggest mistakes, is making those heavy financial purchases. And this is where we have that talk about DTI, that debt to income. So I give them that quick rundown. You know, I'll first ask them like, hey, are you using, you know, the Klarnas, the Afterpays, the Affirms? Yeah, I use those. I need you to close those accounts out, pay them off, close them out. Do not use them again. They don't exist to you until after we close. If you need to block or shut down those apps, if you need to shut down Amazon, if you need to shut down, do what you got to do. I need you not to do that. And then secondly, no major purchases, none. And I'll tell people as well too, like, if you got to play broke to your friends and family until you get to do what you got to do, say, I ain't got it. Like, let those.
I know that's right. Don't co-sign, don't nothing. You are not that person. You triggered me just now. I just need you to know that. I had a client, phenomenal credit, reserves, all of the things, good to go. I'm thinking the account executive is calling me to say, Katrina, CTC is coming out today. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm looking and I see a lot of Klarna. I said, who? Listen, I was so baffled. I said, is it a language barrier? I was like, is he trying to pronounce a word that I'm like, I said, can you text it to me? Because I am totally not understanding what you're saying. Who
Who's
He said,
Klarna?
like a firm. When he said a firm, I said a firm, a
Oh
firm.
Lord.
I said a firm. What? I said, can you send it to me?
Right.
When he screenshot and sent me that text message, and I saw $55, $65, a firm,
Mhm.
Klarna, this, that. I was like, what is that? He was like, like when you purchase and in the bottom it says you can break the payments up. I was like, I know you lying.
Right.
What is this?
Right.
And
Right.
it was such a educational moment.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that the client had all of them taken care of, so we were able to provide the documentation. But I think one of the episodes that I'm going to do coming up soon is just going to be on some of those mistakes and some of those things we want to just really avoid, because that could have really changed the scope of everything. And we were
Oh yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
And people say to me, I was talking to a client about it, and they were like, well, it wasn't, I don't understand because it wasn't a part of my DTI. Oh, but it's going to impact your DTI. And they were like, but it's not on my credit. No, it wasn't on your credit, but it is in your bank statement. So for those of you who are listening, when we ask for assets, bank statements, we're not just looking to see how much you got paid. We're also looking at your spending and if there are any revolving or reoccurring
Yep.
payments that are happening that are not showing up on your credit report. So when we're looking and we see $300 to this or $150 to
Mhm.
that, and it hit the same day, over the 2 months, because remember we look at 2
Mhm.
months bank statements,
Yep.
that's a recurring charge. So either an explanation letter has to be written, documentation. Now we're pulling more of
Yep.
your personal information. And that's the other thing with this. I know we both set those expectations. Listen, we are fully exposed here. They're going to ask you about everything because this is one of the largest purchases you'll ever make, and we're asking a bank to lend us 200, 300, $400,000, and we're going to make a small payment and we're going to borrow it over 30 years, give or take,
Exactly.
whatever that is. So yes, they're going to ask questions. Yes, they're going to want to know a lot of things,
Yeah.
but do be careful with how you are spending money. Do not open new credit. I had a client the other day, we were dragging it to CTC, and in the text message, he texted me, he was like, man, and we were talking about what his potential cash to close was, and he was like,
Mhm.
I wish I wouldn't have bought the car. I almost hyperventilated. I was like,
Like I know you did not.
I said, I'm sorry. He was like, oh, I said, did you just say you bought a car? And he was like, oh no, in December. Listen, choose your words wisely when
Yes, words
speaking
matter.
to me. Because, baby, I was about to drive to your house.
Right.
Like, what? So I was like, no, 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 no. He was like, oh, no, no, no. I knew I had been only saving. I heard what you said at the beginning. I was
Okay.
like, okay, well, we can't just have these kind of casual conversations
Right.
because I'm over here. I'm going before the Lord. I have anointed my computer.
Hello.
I'm on my hands and feet about your loan. Don't do that.
Hello.
Don't do that. Listen, but that Klarna almost took me out.
Yeah, that'll do it. And I found out the hard way, same way as well too, not paying attention or just even, just
Yeah,
not
I
knowing.
didn't pay
You
attention to
know,
it. I overlooked it, but I will never. Oh, it
it ain't
happened
gonna happen
once,
again.
and thank God that person had, excellent credit, excellent income. So even if we had to absorb the stuff into the DTI, we could have,
Yeah,
but why do you we didn't want to go through that. So it was just like, oh my goodness, my goodness.
exactly. Let's not make
Whew.
unnecessary problems. Yeah.
Listen, that I said, is he speaking Spanish to me? What is he talking? I'm like, I don't know what you talking about,
Klarna, like,
honey. Like, no, 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 no.
like, should I be looking them up on Facebook? Like, who's Klarna?
I know. I was like, yeah, who is that? I'm like, she's not getting no gifts.
Right. Like, is there a gift letter that I didn't see? Like,
I was like, it's no co-borrowers. So I don't know who Klarna is, but we need to get rid of this.
I'm glad that worked out. But just so you guys are listening, like, don't let that be you. So when us as loan officers tell you, because we're not only your loan officer, we're also your financial advisor through this. So trust the process and understand what we're saying to you. Like, please. Please and thank you.
Yes, don't be that person. So as
Please.
we think about that person, and this can vary a little bit. So have you ever had, as you've been helping all these first time home buyers, a client that you thought, I don't know if it's gonna happen, and it ended up happening? Everything just fell into place, and the client was able to get it done, or something in that realm,
So like the client thinking that they couldn't get it, or me thinking
or
that it.
you.
I've seen it on both sides of the coin. Yes, I have seen clients that were in the defeatist mindset, maybe because we ran into like a snag up front. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they weren't fully prepared. We'll have the conversation. They'll get excited, and this is what made me fine tune my upfront presentation to where we
Gotcha.
hit on all three of those factors: the credit, the income, and the assets, so that we can address any and everything up front. So I will say that over my years of doing this, that experience, but yes, I've had clients that just completely thought it was out of their reach, until I paired them with an agent. I had a situation, one of my childhood friends. If you're seeing this, when you see it, salute to you, congratulations. But he didn't think it was for him, so we put him on a 6-month plan. Like, hey, it's really not that difficult. Since the pandemic, you've kind of become not necessarily a hermit. You're just not out there in the streets or in the world anymore like that. So just sit back, stay on the grind, save your money. He saved his money for 6 months, and then he actually got a gift from his dad, and I paired him
Awesome.
with one of my top agents. So she was able to negotiate maximum seller concessions. We did everything
Mm,
on. All he literally had to bring to the table was the down payment. That was it.
that's awesome.
That was it, and he was like as happy as can be. I've had situations as well too, to where talking to the client, I'm like, oh, I don't know, but let's just make sure that you're as serious about it as I am, because they've got to want it for themselves as bad as
Oh,
we
I
do.
love it. Say
You know
it.
what I
That
mean?
that that's a big one right there.
And like that's a lesson learned as well too, because we can only pour so much into making it happen for them. They've got to match the energy. Like they've got to match it, and they've got to want it as bad too. So we've been doing this long enough to where we can kind of gauge,
Hmm.
check that temperature to see, like, are you really going to go forward with what we're doing? And if not, you got to be able to. Unfortunately, sometimes you got to cut your losses. It is
Yeah,
what
for
it.
sure.
You know
Yeah. Because time is, I always say time is that one resource we can't buy no more. We can
exactly.
go to the store and we can buy a whole bunch of stuff. But if
Hmm.
I've spent 30, 45 minutes to an hour with you, and that this is not your dream, desire, or hope,
Yeah.
that was 30 minutes that I can never get back. Hopefully you were
Exactly.
better for it, and hopefully I was better for it. But
Yeah.
I don't know, but Jimmy, I'm excited, and I laughed. I needed that. I needed those laughs because this has been excellent conversation. So as we come almost to an end, for that person that's watching today, because we don't know where. That's the beauty of the internet. We have no idea the reaches of this video or when it will reach someone.
Yeah.
If there's someone right now today that feels overwhelmed, they're uncertain, afraid to start the process, what would you want them to know before they take the first step of calling a loan officer or Googling anything? What would you want them to know?
The first step, like, if this is something that you really want to do, don't don't procrastinate. And I will say this because of the fact that the values of homes are going up exponentially year over year. Like, you're not seeing the values going down; they're going up.
No.
So if you're one of those people that, oh, I want to wait for the rates to come down or for the market to come down, you're setting yourself up for failure. So if this is something that you really want to do, put yourself in that mindset. Like, I'm going to do this. That way, you can actually dedicate your efforts into wanting to get that home, whether it's being buckling down and saving your money, buckling down and making sure you're doing all the right things to make sure that your credit is in place. Even doing your due diligence and looking up a great loan officer. I would suggest Googling Safe Trust Mortgage first. You can do one of us, but it's all gonna it starts with the mindset. It all starts with the mindset. So making sure that your mindset is in the right spot, and then aligning your resources. And when I say aligning your resources, is doing your due diligence, looking up a good loan officer, make sure that you do vet them out. And that's why I say look up Safe Trust Mortgage first. But
Yes.
it all starts with the mindset. It starts with the mindset. And then from there, we can navigate you or guide you through that process. But if you're waiting for rates to come down or you're waiting for the market to improve, you're setting yourself up for failure. You really are, because you're
I
going to be
love it.
equity, and that's what it is.
That's right. Because everybody is saying I'm buying a home so that it can help me on my wealth path. So you want to get on the path, because equity is only going to build when you own the home. So you got to own it now. And it's as my friend just said, the prices of houses are increasing over time, and that's what you want, because you want to build equity. So also, as we get ready to close out, as my friend said, Safe Trust Mortgage, look us up. I'm sure you are going to find a loan officer that is going to meet your needs. Check out all of our Google reviews. We love a good 5-star review so that you can see the realness behind us. We pride ourselves on communication, accessibility, and expedience. So we're going to get it done. We're going to get you to the closing table and beyond, and not just there, because we still stay in touch. So, Jimmy, thank you so much for pulling up a seat to the closing table. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast. Thank you so much. I'm honored. Like it's an honor to be in your presence. I appreciate it. So all of you that are watching, please share, like, and subscribe. Katrina is absolutely the best, one of the purest spirits that I've ever met. Just a complete wonderful person. So if you have the if you are lucky enough to get to work with her, you'll understand what I mean by that. So
thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. And I know you're going to pull up a seat soon. I know you're going to have me with a seat at your table soon, too.
Absolutely.
So we'll be advertising and doing all of the things. So thank you for joining us, and I will chat with you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed one.
So, guys, we just finished talking about it. 9 times out of 10, you are closer than you think. So you just got the roadmap. You have the information that you needed. And we have more for you. As my brother said, Safe Trust Mortgage, look us up. And make sure you do like, share, and subscribe for the closing table with Loans by Katrina, because you never know who might pull up a seat. So just make sure that you have your seat. I will see you soon. I love you, and talk to you. Bye-bye.